How's it going today, boys? Today we're going to be going through Am I the Asshole? Where the internet's best and worst people meet to see who's really a dick. Am I the asshole for leaving a dinner party early because of vegan lasagna? I was invited to a friend's dinner party. Beforehand, she told everyone she was making a vegan lasagna. I'm not vegan, but I like plenty of vegetarian and vegan foods, so I figured I'd give it a try. When dinner was served, I was surprised to find that it wasn't really lasagna at all. There were no noodles, no cheese, and no sauce. It was basically layers of vegetables stacked together. The pasta layers were lettuce leaves with slices of tomatoes and other raw vegetables in between. I ate my serving of lasagna, but was still hungry afterward. I didn't complain about the food or say anything negative about it to her, as she is just getting into the vegan lifestyle and trying new foods. After dinner, I decided to leave early. A few of the other guests ended up leaving around the same time, and we went to the local pizzeria and got dinner together. None of us made a social media post about it or anything, but somehow she found out. She later called me and said it was rude and insulting that we went for food after she spent time preparing dinner for everyone. I told her I appreciated the effort she put in, but I was very hungry and didn't want to ask for something else to eat in front of the other guests. She says the fact that multiple people left and went out to eat after made her feel humiliated and like everyone was making fun of her cooking. Some friends think I should have stayed longer and sucked it up. Others think if you invite people over for dinner and tell them you're serving lasagna, it's reasonable for them to expect something more substantial than layered lettuce and tomatoes. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for telling my friend she had no business being angry with me when she still owed me money? There's a note here that says the trip had not been paid for yet and no reservations had been made before I told them I was out. Sorry if my wording was unclear, the trip was still in the planning stage at that point. I had initially said yes, and the cost was going to be split evenly between everyone attending, but I backed out before any money was paid or bookings were made. I'm part of a friend group of 9 people. Around 2 months ago, one of my friends, Sarah, rang me in the middle of the night asking to borrow a fairly large amount of money. She said it was extremely urgent and promised she'd pay me back in full within 2 weeks when she got paid. I agreed to help her, but she specifically asked me not to tell anyone else in the group chat because she was embarrassed about needing the loan. When payday came around, she called again and said her car had broken down and the repairs were expensive. I wasn't thrilled, but I told her to pay me back the following month instead. The next month arrived and she only paid me back half of what she owed. She said the repairs ended up costing much more than expected. I was annoyed, but didn't argue with her. Last week, our friend group had a holiday planned at a rented mountainside ranch. The accommodation was expensive, so the cost was being split between all of us. Unfortunately, my sister gave birth to her first child, and I decided I wanted to be there for her, so I had to cancel at the last minute. Because of that, everyone else's share of the rental increased. Some friends were understanding, others were irritated. Sarah was one of the people who seemed particularly annoyed. She started arguing with me in our group chat and eventually said some pretty nasty things. I replied, "You have no business being angry with me when you still owe me a lot of money and haven't paid me back as promised." She immediately left the group chat and later sent me several angry messages saying I'd humiliated her in front of everyone and exposed something she trusted to keep private. Now the group is divided. Some friends think she started the argument and that I was justified. Others think bringing up the loan publicly was petty and unnecessary. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for telling my daughter her money issues are not a family problem, and if she can't afford to go on the vacation, then she can't go? This is about my middle child, Ellie. Ellie is in her early 30s, and she made some bad decisions in college and had to drop out. She was in debt with no degree to show for it, and she's bounced around low-paying jobs for a while. My other 2 kids finish school and have stable careers. I personally will only lend money for actual emergencies. The issue is my sister, the kid's aunt, has invited everyone in the family on a family vacation to a resort outside the country. The deal is that you need to pay for your flight and food costs. Housing will be paid for by my sister. Everyone is pretty excited for the trip, and it's going to take place at the end of the year around the holidays. My spouse and I have been saving a ton since we learned about the trip at the beginning of the year. My spouse and I just bought our tickets, which were around $1,000 each. I got a call from Kelly asking if I could pay for her ticket. I told her no and I don't have the money. I thought that was the end of it. Kelly went on to call the rest of the family asking for money so she should go. The rest of my immediate family, at least. They turned her down to pay. Kelly and I got into an argument after this. She called again asking for the money. I told her no, and it started an argument. She told me it was unfair that she can't go on the family vacation and that I can make it work. I told her I can't. I would need to go into debt, so that would be a no. I refused to take money out of our savings, as that is for emergencies only. And it went on for a while. In the end, I told her that her money issues is not a family problem, and if she can't afford, she just can't go. She called me a jerk and claimed that I'm not supporting her, and I told her this isn't an emergency. It's vacation, and I'm not giving her money for vacation. Am I the asshole for wanting to move out because my roommate/ex lost her job and hasn't been financially responsible the whole time we've lived together? Burner account just in case. So for context, we've been separated for a few months now. I already mentioned to her months ago that I wanted to move out at the end of our lease, but we decided that I would stick around another year after the lease renewal, due June 20th but starts July 1st, and because I didn't have anything else lined up, I promised her I would. Mind you, I felt very much under duress to say yes. She's never been very responsible. She has about $15,000 in credit card debt, including interest. These are not medical bills or student loans. Has been sued by her bank and hasn't done anything about it. Is driving with a several years expired out-of-state license, and constantly spends so much that I have to cover groceries until she pays me back, and postpones paying bills until she gets her next check. Never late, just inconvenient. She was making $4 an hour more than me, and working 40 hours a week while I work 32 hours a week. She recently got fired due to absences/tardies. Her parents sent her a couple grand to cover a few months of rent, but her getting fired happened at the worst time, because now we have to renew our lease. And I don't know if I can handle the stress and financial burden for a whole year if she doesn't get anything lined up. Every conversation we've had about me moving out has turned into a full-blown argument. When I brought up switching to a month-to-month lease and sticking around for a few months, she still blew up on me, called me selfish, that I was doing was really shitty, that I didn't care that I was fucking her over, and that I promised. I told her that it may be selfish, but I need to worry about my own self-preservation, and I don't think I could trust her to be financially responsible, even when she does, if she gets a job. I also said that circumstances have changed since she was no longer a stable source of income. I can't risk getting evicted, becoming homeless, and destroying my credit score. She says she has nowhere to go, but her partner owns a place with their mom, and they have their own separate dwelling. It's a one-bedroom, her partner has pets, and my roommate's cat doesn't get along with other animals. But my cat plus hers have to alternate being locked up in our rooms so her cat doesn't attack mine. So this is already an issue for us. She says it's not fair to put the burden on her partner, and that she can't move into their place. But apparently it's fine putting the burden on me. Oh, and let me reiterate, her partner and their mom literally own the place, so she wouldn't have to pay rent and could maybe finally get her finances in order. Am I the asshole?